we all know that short form video converts super hot on social media, and that is why Reels are such an amazing strategy to be using in your business right now. Now, some of you may be wondering, is it really worth my time? Because I know how it feels trying to learn how to create a reel and do all the editing and learn all the buttons can feel a little, intimidating. However, if you're using Reels correctly in your business, number one, you can attract in a massive audience very, very quickly. Number two, they start binging your stuff. So then number three, they naturally start to go look at your regular posts and your stories. And before you know it, they're so deep into your profile that they are interested in what you're offering. And a lot of them will end up joining your email list or your Facebook group or checking out your blog. And of course, that's where you can get tons of leads and customers and sales. So check out this super smart strategy today about how you can use Reels to dramatically boost your business and some of the strategies that are going to be the smartest ones to follow. Let's check it out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Social Media Sales Summit. You are in for a special treat because today I'm here with Allison Hardy. She's the creator of the Six Figure Mompreneur podcast, a Huffington Post contributor. She's been featured in YFS magazine and was named one of Washington, D.C.'s most influential professionals under 40 by Washington Life magazine. I'm so thrilled to have her with us here today. And really what Allison does, she helps mompreneurs to set up and launch systems that run in the background, designed to help them sell their products, offers, and services daily so that they can scale their business without trading dollars for hours. And she's an expert on using Instagram Reels to grow her following, her leads, and her client base. So she is the perfect person to be talking with today. Welcome so much, Allison. I'm so glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's dig right in because I think so many people are really interested about learning more about Instagram Reels. It's a new feature. It's gotten a whole lot of buzz, and a lot of people are addicted, I think, because they're so fun. So in case anyone in the audience has not met you before, could you tell us just a little bit about you and your background and how you started using Instagram Reels in your business?
Yeah. Well, my business started when I got laid off at 6 months pregnant with my first. He's now 8. So I needed to make money. That's really all there was to it. It was do or die moment. We didn't have any savings. We were a young married couple expecting our first kid, and we just needed money. So I started a business. And what I quickly realized was that after my son was born, postpartum depression hit, a business that was kind of all over the place in the very new early stages. It wasn't sustainable. Like the stuff I was doing to work my business couldn't be done anymore because my time was so short. I needed to take care of, house, family, myself, kid, all that stuff. So I kind of dug deep one day and I was like, what can I do to work smarter, not harder? That's always my questions. How can I do this better? How can I do what I'm doing better to get better results? What does that look like for me? And so I really dove deep into systems, automations. I got real nerdy with email funnels. Back then, they were still kind of like in the earlier stages. And how can I really just take what I have in place and do it better? So I very quickly realized as I started working through this process that there were other people out there experiencing very similar things as I was. And I was like, well, how can I help these people? And, everything kind of evolved into, I had a personal training business. It was a fitness-based business. I shut that whole thing down and I was like, let's just do this business thing because I could probably help more people do some bigger things in their lives through business than I can with personal training. So that's where it all got started. And then Reels, why Reels are so important to me is just because of what I just said. It makes you work smarter, not harder, because Instagram favors it. They don't want it to fail. Like they never in the history of any social media platform have they been like, ooh, let's roll out this new feature within it and let's have it fail. Like they're gonna prioritize it, right? So, looking at like Facebook Live when that first came out, its main job was to kill Periscope. So they sure as heck wanted you staying on that platform using Facebook Live. And it did. Nobody uses Periscope anymore. So same thing with Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels is trying to compete with TikTok. One would argue they're not as successful in killing it, but they favor it in the algorithm. So if we are here to really use our time and our resources in a more effective way and in a way that gets better and bigger results, Reels are the way to go. So that's why I dove headfirst into Reels.
Well, and I love that. I love so many aspects of your story. I can relate to so many of them. So I'm so glad you're here with us today. And I'm sure the audience can relate with a lot of them as well. What I love about your story specifically is you had one idea for a business, right? And then you started this like quest for knowledge to figure out how can I do this better? And it sent you in a whole new direction, right? And that's exactly what I did. I started building a business, started encountering problems. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, right? And in my quest for knowledge, I did very much the same thing. I pivoted in the same way you did. And so you guys pay attention to her story. She's leaving little breadcrumbs showing how success is discovered. And look what she did. She found a feature that was hot and new, got all over it so she could work smarter, not harder, right? So let's dig into that a little bit further then. So I love what you shared about how anytime there's a new feature, whichever platform is featuring that, they don't want it to fail, right? They want it to succeed. So the algorithm favors it, which I think is huge. And I think that's part of what makes Instagram Reels so unique. I guess no one really knows, but how long, if you were to estimate that period where the platform treats it as like the hot new thing, what time period do you feel like they probably do that for? Like how long is it hot and how long is it heavily favored in the algorithm? Have you noticed anything over time with how that's been playing out?
I think a couple of things happen. So I think that it's definitely still favored, not as much because it's been around now for about a year. And I think that Instagram's cooking something else up. I don't know what it is, but I get the feeling that they're like going to do something new here pretty soon because they release new features about every year or so. And it's been about a year. So I do think that eventually, the algorithm kind of like disfavors it a little bit, but also what happens is everybody starts using it. So I don't know if I don't know for sure if the algorithm isn't favoring it as much anymore. All I know is just that more people are using it now. So you're competing with more people. And so anytime a new platform comes out or a new feature within a platform, I guess is how I should say that. The early adopters, like the people who do it like in the first like couple of days, take that messy action, just like put something out there, usually get a lot of visibility. And then as like people catch on and see that, you're kind of competing with more people. So there's more just fish in the water at that point. So I don't really know if it's an algorithm disfavoring thing or a competition thing.
Right.
But that's usually what I see.
Yeah. Well, and I suspect, I'm sure Instagram has metrics of what they would consider successful, right? So yeah, I'm guessing the more and more people jump on the bandwagon and start using it, that's what they're considering success. And so they're probably going to continue to boost that algorithm until they have like reached some goal number that they have, I would imagine. So, and I seem to, from what I've observed, it still seems to be really hot. So I'd be really curious to hear, for anyone in the audience watching, let us know, comment below or in the Facebook group. Have you been getting into Reels? Let us know if this has been catching your attention because we want to dive deep now into this. So you had mentioned that they were similar to TikToks. Do you use both? And have you observed any major differences between the two, or are they easily comparable?
I don't use them both. I can't handle another platform. It's just like not something that's I'm open to exploring right now. Yeah. Because again, with the whole working smarter, not harder thing, I'm already on Instagram. I'm already there. I've built a pretty okay following there. Like I spend a lot of time there. I like it. Me spending time on something else right now just isn't in the cards. And so I haven't really dug deep into TikTok. I was on it for like a day and then I was like, nope, too much, too much. I don't want to learn another thing. But the reason why I spend time on Reels and in Instagram is because I'm already there. So it makes sense for me and what I'm doing and my goal is to hang out there. And I've forgotten the second half of your question. So what was it?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I actually think that's great because I'm sure tons of the people in the audience, right? They already have an Instagram account. They've probably already been growing a following. Maybe TikTok is this new thing that they're like, is it worth it? Right. But what I love about what you're sharing is, and Instagram is really unique in that it's one of the only platforms that, yes, you can share like a traditional post, right? Of course, But yes, now you can also share reels and you have stories, right? Instagram is the platform that has this and like they're just kind of layering in all these elements that, to my knowledge, no other platform carries that many features. So
For sure.
it's definitely, like you said, working smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about what are the benefits of using Instagram Reels as a part of your social media strategy? And what have you seen transforming your own business? Like what's possible when you start leveraging Reels?
Yeah. Well, just like the actual format of a reel, they're super consumable. So they used to be 15 seconds long, and then they went up to 30, and now some accounts have 60 seconds. So they're really short pieces of content that play. And I don't know if this is like human psychology, good idea, but either way, it's the truth. Our attention span is a lot shorter than it used to be. So because these pieces of content are a lot shorter, they're very, very, very consumable. So the average reel watcher watches for 7 seconds, despite us still having the ability to go up to 60 seconds. It's a 7-second attention span we have now. So isn't that, it just really makes me think of the goldfish analogy. Like we just really have no attention span anymore. Yeah. What's this new thing? Let's go.
Right.
So like, that's important to know. So with reels, like having a hook in the beginning is really, really important to get people to pay attention. And the thing about reels is they can really benefit you when it comes to visibility. A lot of people say to me, I do a post and I get like 5 likes, or I'll spend all this time in crafting an IGTV or doing the IG live and it gets like 50 views. And while I'm super grateful for those views and I'm grateful for their likes, and I know that they're people and a beating heart and all that stuff, I just want more. So if you want more people seeing your stuff, reels are the way to go. In my account, my regular posts will get like 50 likes, and that's fine and great, but my reels will get like 5,000 views. So, and that's like not even all, like compared to other accounts, that's like nothing. So just like the sheer reach that you get with reels, it's considerably more. And now that Instagram has rolled out insights for reels, before we just had the views count and that was it. Now we can see like how many people are our followers that are seeing our views, how many people are or that are seeing our reels, how many people are not our followers that are seeing our reels. In my accounts, it's like 30% of my followers see my reels and 70% of not my followers see my reels. So it's just getting me and my message in front of new people. And then when you can get people looking at your stuff, Instagram's algorithm is going to push your content to them because they say, oh, they watch this, let's send them some more stuff. So when you have like carousel posts or Instagram TVs, they're more likely to see your stuff because you've done a reel to gain their attention. And then you brought them in through the carousel or the Instagram TV or whatever it is, whatever that other piece of content you're creating is.
So this is playing a key role, a key strategy in your business to get more eyes on your content than you would otherwise be getting.
Absolutely. Yeah. The visibility with reels is considerably different than with any other feature in the platform.
Wow. And I'm kind of seeing like a 2-part strategy. You use the reels to get the eyes on your stuff, and then they start looking at all of your other stuff within your Instagram family of content.
Right. And because reels are so bingeable, if they go onto your account and they click the reels tab, that's like the holy grail. They're just going to scroll through all your reels because they take like 15 seconds to watch. So they're probably going to watch a couple of reels. And when it does that, Instagram's algorithm again is like, ding, this person likes this person. Let's send them more of their stuff. So when you continue to back up your strategy with like educational posts or really awesome IGTVs that really serve and deliver them juicy nuggets of goodness, like they're going to become your people a lot faster than like wishing, crossing your fingers and eyes and hoping that like your beautifully curated image gets to the right people. If you want to get to the right people, do a reel first.
Oh, wow. So yeah, I love the strategy. You guys pay attention. If you have your action workbook, take it out, write this down, right? It's the reel is the first step to attract people in, and then make sure you have other content that they can discover as well, whether it's a story or a post or an Instagram TV. They'll start binging your other stuff. And make notice of what Allison is sharing here, because reels are so consumable and they're so short. I have been noticing this phenomenon as well, that no one wants to sit down and watch an hour-long video, but they're happy to binge watch 62 reels for an hour.
Yep, absolutely. Because they're entertaining, right? That's one of the main goals with a reel is to entertain someone. So while an educational video is great, if you can make someone laugh, if you can relate to them, you should do that first and then be like, hey, I have this awesome other educational video you can watch because you've got them in your wheelhouse and they're your person now.
Yeah, I love that. So have you been noticing then all these extra eyes, obviously all these extra people are finding your reels. Have you been able to translate that into more followers, more leads, more sales of your products?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you get in front of more people, you have the opportunity to sell to more people. So what I have actually found is that they come from reels. They usually consume a couple of carousels because they're also kind of like flippable and easy to consume, especially if you're delivering like small chunks of information along the way. And then they usually go to the podcast and then you're like with them throughout the day. So you're a part of their daily life. And then they become a client through those kind of like 3 ways. Because in those other platforms, like in the podcast, in the carousels, it's always some sort of pitch, whether it's download the free lead magnet, enroll in my program, join my Facebook group. There's some action that they're going to take to move them on to the next step in my customer journey.
And so you've definitely been seeing all those extra eyeballs turning into leads, customers, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. As long as you have a clear call to action, you're seeing it happen.
Right. You got to have that call to action. You got to constantly making that invite. And if you don't, what are they going to do? They're not going to know what to do. So you got to tell them what to do.
Right. If you don't invite someone to something, they can't show up. Right.
Right. Exactly. It's like having a birthday party and then just hoping people to show up. They're not going to do that. So you have to say, hey, download my thing, do this, do that. Help, like, let me serve you in a bigger and better way. I can do that through this offer.
Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit deeper then for the viewers who are getting really motivated and realizing like, oh, there's like this 1-2 strategy, right? Like put the reel out there and then let them discover my other content and then become a customer, a client, but they've never made a reel. They don't even know where to start. Maybe they feel overwhelmed, right? What would you say to the new person who's just ready to venture into reels and trying to figure out how to get started? What's the first step?
Do a very simple, hold your phone, look at it, and talk to your camera. Give them your best tip for achieving the change that you help your clients to do. So you say something like, my best tip for doing X is Y. Super short, make it 7 seconds or less. You'll capture their attention and then they'll probably watch it a couple times. And just talk to the camera like you talk to someone. You don't have to do the lip syncing if you don't want to. You don't have to dance. You don't have to point if you don't want to. Just talk to the camera. There's a really amazing account. She's a parenting coach. Her name is Dr. Siggie, Siggie. And she has this amazingly engaged audience on Instagram. And her reels are literally her saying, do you have this pain point? Try this. And I watch all of them because I'm like, oh my gosh, my 3-year-old is driving me crazy. What can I do to make this better? And I watch them and they're nothing fancy. They're just simple text, face to camera, and I love them. And really at the end of the day, what matters most is that you're meeting your person where they are and you're helping them. So whether that's you're entertaining them or giving them a tip or you're just sharing, what's going on, people like people, they buy from people. So the more people-y you can be to them, the more likely they are to buy from you.
I love that. So it's like, they don't need to be complicated. They don't need to have all this crazy stuff. It can be just simple little statements and you can succeed with just that. This doctor is the perfect example.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you have maybe you did a Facebook Live a couple months ago and it was like 5 ways to do this. One reel should be way number 1. Second reel should be way number 2. Like you can batch those things and take old content and reuse it and turn it into a reel. That's really simple and really easy to do. And then it's an amazing piece of content that lives forever on your Instagram account.
Oh, I love that. Like not everything needs to be created from scratch. You can piece apart and reuse old stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And even if you don't want to record, I'm sure you have some videos you could just splice up and make them into reels also. So if you really want to get real fancy into the reusing of content thing, that's what you could do as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. So quick question, just because I've never tried this and I'm curious if you can do it. Once you have made a bunch of reels, can you save them onto your phone, like outside of Instagram, that you could then reuse them somewhere else too?
Absolutely. Yes, you can do that. So you can download them once they're live. You hit the little 3 buttons and it says something to the effect of, I believe, save to camera roll. and it'll save it right there on your phone. And it's a video file that lives there. And then you can reuse it in other places. You could splice them together as a YouTube video, make it into a series in your Facebook group. You can do a lot of different things. Yeah, so you can totally do that.
So that's fantastic, because anytime I find a strategy where you can reuse, repurpose content, like absolutely.
Yes. Sign me up.
Well, and the thing I love about this, like already, I hope like for those people watching, right, or listening, I hope your creative juices are starting to flow here, because already I'm thinking about like, oh, if I took the time to create a bunch of reels, I could download all of them and then use them as stories somewhere else, or use them on a blog, or use them wherever, like reuse this stuff, right? That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you have like going back to that like 5-tip example, so you could do like part 1 of this thing, part 2 of this thing, part 3 of this thing, and you could turn that into blog posts, podcast episodes. Like there could be so many different ways that you reuse that type of content. That also helps you to just keep your messaging really consistent, because you're constantly talking about this one thing. So it can also be a great like starting off point too for bigger pieces of content. Now, a lot of times we make a big piece of content and then we kind of like break it down. It can be like the opposite, right? So you can start with a bunch of little pieces and then chunk it up into this big hearty piece of content, if that's what you wanted to do as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then I imagine anyone who has any kind of checklist or top 5 ways to do this or whatever, yes, immediately you have 5 reels, right? Mm-hmm. So already you have like a pool of content, not just one reel, but you have the idea for 5 now.
Yeah.
So now that people are starting to realize how easy it might be to repurpose and reuse content as a reel or for a reel, is there a certain frequency that people should be sharing reels? Like how many times a day should they be putting these things out there?
Instagram suggests, I believe right now their suggestion is 4 reels a week. So
a week, not even a day.
A week, right? A week. Yeah. So, I mean, so for some people, they're like, oh, like, I feel like you're like, that's not so bad. For other people, they're like, oh my gosh, no, like, that's terrible. So really like the frequency, it has to work for you. And I'm always a fan of like pushing yourself and like challenging yourself to do more. But if it's just not possible right now, don't do more. Quality over quantity all the time. But also like, there's the other side of it, right? Are you letting yourself off the hook? Are you really committed to growing your Instagram account? Like, what's it going to take for you to get to the next level? Is it going to be more Instagram followers? Then it might make sense for you to dive into more reels. Or if it's something else, like just do what you can, right? So I think it's just a matter of like, what's possible for you? What does Instagram describe or subscribe? What do they recommend? And then where do you fall on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and even for a week, that's like one every other day.
Right. It's not like it may seem a lot, but it's really not, especially if you're just doing the like breaking down of the 5 things, or, you find a viral sound you like and you kind of just do a quick lip syncing. Like it's not that much, but for someone starting out, it could be a little overwhelming. So do what you can. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, it's anywhere from 7 to 15 seconds every other day.
Right.
You can do it, you guys. You can do this.
I agree. But sometimes it's just like, do what you can. And like, what if you did an experiment? I'm always a fan of this. You got curious and you're like, okay, for the next 90 days, I am going to post 4 reels a week. I'm going to listen to Instagram and do what they say. Track it, like see what happens inside of your account. You have insights now. See what kind of reach you're getting. And it might prove to you or yourself or to someone else or whoever you got to prove it to that this is a good use of your time. So if your goal is to grow your Instagram account and then you see that it's actually growing because you're posting 4 reels a week, that's some good data coming back to you. So it also, depends on your goals and all that good stuff. But I would recommend if Instagram tells you to do something and you want to grow your Instagram, you should probably do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I know, of course, you did that. You started leveraging reels. You started tracking your results, right? And clearly you had some success there. So to help the audience understand like what this looks like when it starts to scale, do you happen to have any stats offhand, or can you kind of ballpark, let the audience know when you first started, like what did that growth look like? Have you had any reels that have gone viral, or, Yeah.
So in my very first reel got like 3,000 views. I remember being like, holy crap, what magic have I arrived on? Like it was, and it's a terrible reel. I still up. So I like kind of like bring it up every now and then when I do things like this. It's a terrible piece of content. So bad. But it got 3,000 views and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is something I should do. And I didn't have music for a while or sound. So there's like none of them in the early stages have sound. It's like this very strange piece of content. So it's not even good, but it got 3,000 views. And then, consistently I was getting around like 2,000 to 3,000 views. Sometimes it'll go up to like 5,000. Sometimes like I posted one yesterday and it's still at like 140 views. And I don't know why. I can't really figure it out, but it happens sometimes. My very first, and it's viral for me. My very first viral for me reel was like 11,000 views. Wow. And then I had one go 30,000 views. And then I think the other one is around 50,000 views. And so from that, you see a spike in followers, you see a spike in engagement, you see a spike in DMs and comments. So the possibilities become endless. I think that the reason why those couple of reels went viral is because they used a popular sound. So if you see a sound kind of like over and over and over again, it might make sense, even if you've like bashed a couple of reels, to kind of just replace one with this viral one and move that one around so that you can kind of like take advantage of that viralness, but also like really spoke to my ideal client. So it's very much so like me with my 3-year-old, usually talking to the camera or doing like a silly sound and like she's being silly in the background, just showing my ideal client that like, hey, I get it. I'm in the trenches with you too. Like, I know you got your 3-year-old at home because you haven't gone to school in 18 months. And like, here we are together doing reels and like, it's cool. So like just speaking to your ideal client and helping them to understand like, yeah, I do get you. I get it. I understand, but like, I know you're here and you want to go here and I can help you do that. Here's what we need. Here's how we need to do this together. So I think those like the sound and or the messaging to the ideal client, I think is really important in going viral.
Well, and I think that's so inspiring. And I'm sure the audience is inspired right now, simply realizing you don't need a perfect background. You don't need a totally silent house. You don't need to be perfectly done up. In fact, if you're living real life and you kind of got stuff everywhere and your kid on your hip and you're doing whatever, that's real. And that's what people connect with.
Yeah. And the beauty of reels also, like if that's a concern of yours, is that they're only 7, 15, 30, 60 seconds long. So like you could probably get it together for that amount of time too. Because like we want to appear in a somewhat polished way, right? We want to appear to be a professional, but it doesn't have to be this like big orchestrated thing. Like you can have real life going on in the background and it's just a short piece of content that's easy to make and it's fun to make and can impact people. And that's what we're all about, right?
Right. Not only impacting our audiences and making a difference in our industry, but having fun. I mean, reels are fun. They're fun to make. They're fun to watch. They're fun to consume. I mean, they're just a great tool to add into your arsenal. If you want to grow your following and your engagement and your leads and customers and all those things. So if people in our audience are ready, they're ready to start making their first handful of reels, maybe trying to get their own viral reel out there to kind of feel what it feels like when they get that lift of all these views. I mean, like, guys, imagine 11,000, 30,000, 50,000 views, eyes on your stuff, right? Like that's what we want. So how can they go about trying to figure out how to make their first couple of reels or maybe first couple of viral reels? Like, do you have a certain formula that you could teach them or an easy button that you could help them with?
Yeah, I have a freebie for you guys. It's called the 3 viral reel strategies. So those 3 reels I just mentioned, and 11,000, 30,000, 50,000 views, I break it down for you. So I show you the example. I show you like the strategy behind it and the psychology behind it. And then just some pro tips to like make it easier for you to implement. So I have that as a lead magnet. You guys can download it. I know Adrienne's going to promote it here, but I mean, the 2 factors are viral sounds and relatability. So when you can capture both of those 2 things, it's when your content, I think, has a better chance of getting more views. And I also think like posting consistently is really important, and doing what Instagram wants you to do, like posting 4 reels a week, can really help with that too. So part of it's like playing to the algorithm. Another part is like messaging.
Yeah. And so what an abundant gift to share with our audience. I hope you guys all scoop this up. This is going to be super helpful in getting you started, whether you're brand new and you just don't even know what to say, or whether you're further along, but you're ready to start finally having some viral content. The fact that Allison's going to break down her 3 most viral reels for you, and not just like exactly what she did, but the strategy behind, like, here's why you put this type of content, or here's what you want your audience thinking when they see your stuff. And I know she does a fantastic job at this because I had actually scooped up one of her Reels trainings. I wanted to get in there and see what was inside. And it's genius, you guys, the way she breaks this down. So for her to share her top 3 viral ones with you is a super abundant gift. Thank you so much for sharing that, Allison. I think they're going to love it.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to help.
Wonderful. So I hope after watching this, you guys feel inspired to bring Reels into your strategy, specifically on Instagram, as a way to get more eyes on your stuff, who will then go look at your posts, look at your stories, look at your Instagram TVs, click your bio link, do all those other things. It's the perfect way to entice people in to just get to know you a little bit. And it's fun for them and it's fun for you. And Allison, we are so blessed to have had you with us here today. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge about Reels and how to get started with Reels. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.